name is Anne Shirley, but please call me Cordelia. I think Cordelia is a much better name for me. Don't you think? I am truly honored and excited to be going to Green Gables with you, Mr. Cuthbert. I feel I'm the most fortunate girl in the whole world, or at least in the whole Dominion of Canada. Hello, my name is Anne Shirley, but please call me Cordelia.
There she is at the end of the platform.
She? But it's a boy I've come for. Mrs. Spencer was supposed to bring a boy over from Nova Scotia here to Bright River. Then I was to take him home to Avonlea.
Well, Mrs. Spencer got off the train with that girl and left her my charge till you got here.
There must be some mistake.
Maybe she can explain it. She sure is a talker, that one. Now, if you'll excuse me, Matthew, that's the last train for today, and I'm going home for myself.
Oh, I do hope you're Mr. Matthew Cuthbert.
Well now, I reckon that's me.
Hello, my name is Anne Shirley, but please call me Cordelia. I think Cordelia is...
Yes, I heard you saying all that earlier. You were talking kind of loud.
Oh yes, we tend to do that where I come from. If you hadn't come, I was going to climb up that big cherry tree down the tracks. I was afraid you weren't. You took so long.
You're not a boy.
But I can climb all the same, and I wouldn't be the least bit afraid. I'd pretend the blossoms in the moonlight were columns in a castle.
Well, I guess I can't be leaving you here. I'll take you home and see what Marilla says. Horse and buggy are over there. I'll carry you back.
I can manage. All my worldly goods are in it, but it isn't heavy. Now, isn't that beautiful?
What?
That tree over there. What does it make you think of?
Well now, I don't know.
A bride, of course, with a misty veil. I don't think I'll ever be a bride myself. I'm so homely nobody would ever want to marry me. Except maybe a foreign missionary. Not only am I homely, I'm also thin. I love to imagine I'm nice and plump, with dimples in my elbows. Am I talking too much? People are always saying that I do. Would you rather I didn't talk?
Well now, I don't mind talking to folks too much, seeing that I'm kind of quiet myself. Talk as much as you like.
Thank you, Mr. Cuthbert. I feel we must be kindred spirits. Miss Spencer told me all about Green Gables. She said there's a brook nearby that makes me almost perfectly happy. But I can never be perfectly happy because of this.
Your hair?
What color would you call it?
It's red, ain't it?
Yes, red. I can imagine away my skinniness and my freckles and green eyes. Not my red hair. Mr. Cuthbert, have you ever imagined what it would be like to be divinely beautiful?
Well now, no, I haven't.
Will your sister like me even though I'm not divinely beautiful?
I doubt that'd bother her too much. But something else might. Might bother her a whole lot. Come on, we'd best be getting you home.
Home. What a lovely sound. Almost angelic. I don't think I'll ever get used to it.
Let's hope you get the chance. Come on.
Oh yes, let's not delay. I've heard all about Green Gables, and it seems just like a dream. I pinched myself black and blue from the elbows up, hoping it wasn't. You see, Mr. Cuthbert, all my life.
Marilla.
Evening, Rachel.
Are you all right?
I had one of my headaches yesterday, but I'm all right now. Why do you ask?
Well, I was telling Pease at my window this afternoon when I saw Matthew going by in the buggy with the small bear.
Yes.
And he has not come back yet.
You've been sitting out your window for 3 hours.
Well, we had a big pea harvest this year. Anyway, I heard Matthew tell Peter Morrison over in Blair's store in Carmody yesterday that he meant to sow turnips today.
Oh, he finished. And left. And that's about all there is to it.
And I suppose that's not all there is to it, Marilla. But, not being the nosy type, I certainly won't cry.
I suppose you might as well know. Matthew went to Bright River. We're getting a little boy from the orphan asylum in Nova Scotia. He was to come on the 5:30 train. They should be along soon. Sit and have some tea, Rachel.
I'll sit, but not the tea, thank you. I'm much too flabbergasted. Are you in earnest, Marilla?
We've been thinking about it for some time now. Matthew's getting up in years, and his heart troubles him a good deal. So we sent for a boy, old enough to do some of the chores, but young enough to be trained up properly.
Well, I'll tell you plain that I think you're doing a mighty foolish thing, bring a strange child into your home and not knowing a thing about him. Why, just last week I read in the paper about a man and his wife who took a boy out of the orphanage, and he set fire to the house on purpose. And another case with a boy who sucked all the eggs he gathered. But the worst one, they say, over in New Brunswick, an orphan poured poison down the well, and the whole family died in fearful agony. Only it was a girl in that instance.
Well, we're not getting a girl. Matthew's afraid of them, and I would never dream of bringing one up.
Well, I can't wait to see how this all comes out. Here come Matthew and the boy now. Hard to see him in this light, but it looks like the first thing I'll have to do is give him a haircut. I'll just slip out the side door so you and Matthew can have a moment alone with the new boy. I won't breathe a word about this. I'll let you two break the news. Oh, but Marilla, if I were you, I'd keep the lid fastened real tight on the well.
Oh, the drive here was so pretty. No, that's not the right word for it. Nor beautiful either. It was wonderful. Wonderful.
Oh, hello. You must be Matthew Cuthbert. Who is this? Where's the boy?
There wasn't any boy. There was only her.
We sent for a boy. Why did you bring her?
I couldn't just leave her at the station, no matter how the mistake came to be.
Well, this is a pretty piece of business.
You don't want me? You don't want me because I'm not a boy. I should have expected it. Nobody ever did want me. I should have known it was too beautiful to be true.
Well, there's no need to cry about it.
Yes, there is. You'd cry too if you were an orphan who had come to a place you thought was home, but wasn't because you heard a boy.
Well, don't cry anymore. Well, we won't send you out of doors tonight. What's your name?
My name is Anne Shirley, but please call me Cordelia. I think Cordelia's a much better.
What's wrong with calling you by your real name?
It's so unromantic.
Fiddlesticks. It's a good, plain, sensible name.
Very well. You must call me Anne. Please call me Anne with an E at the end.
Very well, Anne spelled with an E. Can you tell us how this mistake came to be? Were there no boys at the orphanage?
Well, yes, an abundance of boys. But Miss Pincher thought you wanted a girl. Oh, Mr. Cuthbert, why did you tell me you didn't want me at the station and leave me there?
Well, now,
If I hadn't seen the white way of delight and the lake of shining waters, it would be so hard to leave.
What on earth does she mean?
it's the new name she gave to the apple tree grove in the berries pond.
Sounds like your imagination works overtime. Come on, I'll show you where you can sleep tonight, and then we can have some supper.
I won't have any, thank you. I can never eat when I'm in the depths of despair. Can you?
I've never been in the depths of despair, so I can't say.
You could imagine what it would be like.
I have my hands full handling the real things in life. I don't have time for imagination. Now, come on. You can unpack your things first and then come back down. If you still don't want supper, you can at least come down and say goodnight. We'll have to send her back tomorrow.
Well, now,
Matthew Cuthbert, you never light that pipe unless something's weighing on your mind. What is it?
well, it just seems kind of a pity to send her back when she's so set on staying here.
You mean to say that you think we ought to keep her? What good would she be to us?
We might be some good to her.
I believe that child has bewitched you.
She's a real nice little thing. Real interesting, too. She talked my arm off coming home from the station.
She's a talker, all right, but that's nothing in her favor. Besides, you need someone to help you with the chores.
I could hire a local boy part-time, and the girl could be company for you.
I'm not suffering for company, and I don't aim to keep her. And I do wish you'd go outside with that pipe.
I'll put the mare in the barn.
Oh, Miss Cuthbert, I love the view from the window upstairs. In the moonlight, the trees and flowers are fairly shimmering. You seem to be calling to me. Anne, Anne, come out
out to us. We need a playmate. We don't dare go out. There's no use in loving things that you have to be torn away from, is there?
Can you do chores?
Oh, yes. I can sweep and clean and do dishes.
Outside chores, I mean. Oh, never mind. That Matthew, he got me thinking. He's a ridiculous man.
Oh, well, I think he's lovely. He didn't mind how much I talked, and I think he seemed to like it. The moment I saw him, I felt we were kindred spirits.
Well, you're both kind of strange if that's what you mean by kindred spirits. Afternoon, Mrs. Wood.
Miss Cuthbert, I just ran into Miss Lynn at the foot of the hill, and she told me that you and your brother had adopted a little boy. Now, Mr. Blewett and I were thinking of getting us a little girl at that orphanage. Do you think they have any hard-working girls with clear eyes and a strong back?
Well, this is quite a coincidence, Mrs. Blewett. Perhaps a providential coincidence. We might be able to work something out right here. You see, we sent for a boy, but they sent us this girl.
Not very stout-looking, but wiry. That'll do, I guess. If I take you, you'll have to be mighty good, and smart, and respectful. I'll expect you to earn your keep. Make no mistake about that. I have a large family, and they quarrel a lot, and the babies are awful fractious. You could take care of a whole lot for me. Yes, I will take her off your hands, Miss Cuthbert. If you like, I could take her home right now.
Well, that might be a good thing for Matthew and I to think about. You see, we had absolutely decided we wouldn't keep her. We'll let you know tomorrow.
Well, I guess that'll have to do. Good night.
Did you really say that perhaps you might let me stay at Green Gables?
Perhaps and nothing more, although Miss Blewett certainly needs you more than I do.
I'd rather go back to the orphanage than stay with her. If you let me stay at Green Gables, I'll do anything you ask.
Well, you can start by going upstairs and getting dressed for bed. Don't forget to say your prayers.
I don't know how.
You were never taught to say your prayers. You do love God, don't you?
Well, he did give me red hair, so I never cared for much.
Young lady, I can see that you're in strong need of religious training. We'll start right now with your prayers. Now, kneel down next to me and repeat after me.
Now I lay me down to sleep. Now I lay me down to sleep. Why must we kneel to pray? Wouldn't we get closer to heaven if we stood up? I'm sorry, Miss Cuthbert. What comes next?
I pray the Lord my... Oh, you're old enough to think of your own prayers. Just thank God for his blessings and humbly ask him for the things you want.
Okay. Dear Father, I thank thee for the white way of delight and the lake of shining waters. And that's all the blessings I can think of for right now. As for the things I want, they're so numerous that I will only mention the two most important. Please, please let me stay at Green Gables. And please let me be good looking when I grow up. I remain yours respectfully, Anne Shirley. Good night.
I've never raised a child, and certainly not a girl, but it's about time someone adopted her and taught her something. As far as I'm concerned, Matthew, she can stay.
Well, now.
I'll try to make her useful and train her properly, but you don't put your oar in. I suppose an old maid knows more about raising a child than an old bachelor. I thought you put the horse up.
Well, I guess I had my mind on that little girl so much I plumb forgot.
Looks like I have two children to look after instead of just one. Now, come on, you put away the wagon.
Morning, Miss Lynn.
Good morning, Reverend. I meant to tell you that your sermon seemed quite familiar on Sunday.
Truth to tell, same one I delivered the week before. My memory isn't what it used to be.
Nor your sermons either. Good day. Well, Mr. Phillips and Priscilla Andrews.
Mrs. Lynde.
Wait,
Wasn't expecting to see anyone but the school children out this early in the morning.
That's quite obvious. I'm going to the Cuthberts to look in on the new orphan they adopted. And he'll be going to your school, no doubt, Mr. Phillips.
And he'll certainly be welcome, of course.
It's nice to see a teacher taking such close interest in his students.
Yes, I was just hoping Prissy, Miss Andrews with her geometry.
How conscientious.
Now, Miss Andrews, let us once again review the difference between an axiom and a postulate.
Children! Children! Children. If I could do it all again, I'd have 10 instead of 12.
We'll need more chicken feed by next week, Matthew. Better get cheese stacks. Miss Cuthbert? Morning, child.
Oh, please, won't you please tell me if you're going to let me stay or not? I can't bear not knowing any longer. I was awake half the night, worrying, and the second half, I was asleep and dreaming about lovely Green Gables.
I suppose you might as well know. Matthew and I have decided to keep you. That is, if you try to be a good girl and show yourself grateful. Why, what's the matter, child?
I'm crying. I don't know why I'm crying. I'm as glad can be. I've never been happier in my life. Can you tell me why I'm crying?
I suppose it's because you're all worked up. I'm afraid you laugh and cry far too easily. Yes, you can stay. We'll try to do right by you. And you'll have to go to school, you know. But it's only 2 weeks till summer vacation, so you can start in September.
Thank you, Miss Cuthbert. I'll try to make you ever so glad to have me. Now what should I call you? Miss Cuthbert? Or Aunt Marilla, maybe?
I'm not your aunt, but I suppose Miss Cuthbert sounds rather distant, so you can call me just plain Marilla.
Seems awful disrespectful to say just plain Marilla.
Not if you say it respectfully. Then you can call Matthew just plain Matthew.
All right. Marilla. Now that I have a home, do you think that I'll ever have a bosom friend in Avonlea?
What kind of friend?
A bosom friend. An intimate friend. A true kindred spirit in which I can share all my innermost secrets.
Dinah Barry's the closest little girl.
Oh, her house must be by the lake of shining waters. Her hair isn't red, is it? I couldn't endure a bosom friend with red hair. It's bad enough to have red hair myself.
Dinah Barry's a pretty little girl with black hair. She is good and smart too, which is better than being pretty. But her mother is a peculiar woman and won't let her play with just anybody, so you try and make a good impression. Now, while I fix breakfast, you learn this.
What is it?
It's the Lord's Prayer. It's a good place to start on your religious training. Now, you learn that by heart.
Oh, Matthew, thank you so much for keeping me. Marilla's given me this prayer to learn. I'm just so happy. At first I was crying, but now I'm so happy I'm laughing. Have you ever been so happy that you laughed and cried at the same time?
Well now, I don't recollect I have.
Just listen to this. Our Father, who art in heaven. It reads just like a song. I'm so glad I'm learning it.
Hold and learn it and hold your tongue. Maybe you better go to your room so that you're not distracted by your kindred spirit.
Yes, Marilla.
Morning, Marilla. Matthew, where is the little boy?
It's a little girl. The orphan asylum made a mistake.
So you'll send her back, of course.
No, we're going to keep her. Matthew took a fancy to her, and I have to admit I sort of like her myself.
But you don't know a thing about her, or her disposition. And you, knowing nothing about raising children, there's no guessing how a child like that will turn out. I don't mean to discourage you, Marilla.
You won't. Once I make my mind up, it stays made up. I suppose you want to see her.
And come down here for a minute. You've taken a great responsibility upon yourself. And you too, Matthew.
Well now, we'll see.
And this is Mrs. Rachel Lynde. She's one of our closest friends and lives on the next farm over.
Good morning, ma'am.
Well, they certainly didn't pick you for your looks. She's terribly skinny and homely, Marilla. Come here, child. Lawful heart, did anyone ever see such freckles? And hair as red as carrots? Come here, I say.
How dare you! How dare you! How dare you call me skinny and ugly and freckled and red-headed! I hate you! I hate you! I hate you! I hate you! You are a rude, impolite woman!
Well, Anne!
How would you like it if someone called you fat and clumsy and you probably even a spark of imagination? You've hurt my feelings and I'll never forgive you!
Did anybody ever see such a temper? Anne, come back here and apologize. I don't envy you for having to bring up that child, Marilla. She was very naughty, I admit. But you shouldn't have twitted her about her looks, Rachel. So I suppose I have to be considerate of the fragile feelings of orphans, do I? She was never taught right from wrong. She'll learn. Anne, come back here. She has obviously no intentions of apologizing. And you needn't expect a visit from me anytime soon, Marilla. Good day. Rachel! Anne, I'm ashamed of you. Come back here this minute. Rachel! Oh, I have to stop that woman before she spreads this all over Avonlea. Rachel!
Anne, it's me, Anne. Matthew. I'm here by myself right now. Would you be willing to come down here and talk with me for a minute? And I think you'd better apologize and get it over with when they come back.
Apologize to Mrs. Lynde?
Just smooth it over, so to speak.
Well, I suppose I can do it for you, Matthew. I am rather ashamed of myself and how I lost control. But it's so humiliating when the other person started it. Still, I'll gladly do it for you.
Just smooth it over. Here they come back now. Don't tell Marilla I said anything to you. She'll think I was putting my oar in.
I'll see if I can get her to come up and...
Oh, Mrs. Lynde, I'm so extremely sorry. Words could not express my sorrow, even if I used a whole dictionary. I spoke very badly to you, and I've disgraced my dear friends Matthew and Marilla, who let me stay at Green Gables even though I'm not a boy. And you spoke the truth. My hair is red. I'm skinny and ugly and freckled. Please forgive me. If you don't, you'll inflict a lifetime of sorrow on a poor orphan girl. Please say you'll forgive me, Mrs. Lynde.
There, child. Of course I forgive you. Get up. I suppose I was a bit too hard. Don't mind me. I'm a trifle outspoken. Anyway, I knew a girl once with hair as red as yours. When she grew up, it turned to be a real handsome auburn.
Oh, Mrs. Lynde, you've given me hope. I'm sure I could be a much better person if only my hair would turn auburn.
I think she'll turn out all right after all, Marilla. Now that she's come to live with civilized folks. And in time, we might come to be friends. If you take a notion, you can come down and visit me one of these days.
Thank you, Mrs. Lynde.
Good day.
I apologized pretty well, didn't I?
Maybe a bit too well.
But I meant it. I really did. I spoke awfully bad to her, and I'd never do anything to purposely hurt or embarrass you or Matthew.
I believe you. But you're going to need lots of moral guidance, even more than we can provide. We'll get you started to Sunday school and church immediately. Okay, let's go upstairs and see what you have to wear. If you don't have anything good, if necessary, we'll go to town after breakfast. Get you a new Sunday dress.
How wonderful. And on the way, I'll study the Lord's Prayer while I breathe in the glorious atmosphere of my new surroundings. I may not speak a word the whole way.
Thanks be to goodness for that.
orphan girl that Cuthbert's adopted.
We passed her on the way to church.
Miss Lynn says she's a terrible temper.
I hear she talks more. Jerry Booth, the Cuthberts who hired him, said he overheard her talking to the trees and flowers like a crazy girl. When we passed her, she was picking flowers and putting them in her hat. But I think she ought to be putting something on her sleeves, like puffs. You should see the dress she's wearing. It's so unfashionable.
You're just looking at the outside things. She may be very nice inside.
Girls, may we please come to order? We have only a few moments today because of the guest minister who will be speaking at church. Now, if you'll open your quarterlies. Hello, you're late.
Oh, I'm dreadfully sorry. I was waiting on Marilla, but she had one of her headaches and couldn't come.
Dick. And you were dallying all the while, I see, by picking flowers.
Yes, roses and buttercups. Aren't they lovely? Although pink and yellow aren't becoming to me, I know.
In the future, I suggest you pin bouquets on your dress where they belong, like the other girls.
What does it matter where they're worn as long as they're worn? I'm sorry, I'll sit down.
Now, as I was saying before we were interrupted, open your quarterlies to this Sunday's question page, but do not look at the answers.
Yes, Miss Rogerson.
Now, I expect all of you, except our new little orphan girl, of course, to know all of the answers.
Yes, Miss Rogerson.
On which day did God create the fish and the fowls? Yes.
On the 5th day, God created the fish and the fowls.
That is correct. Where was Cain sent after he had slain his brother Abel? Yes.
Cain was banished to the land of Nod to the east of the Garden of Eden.
That's right. Now, what punishment did God visit on the evil serpent? All right, you again.
The evil serpent was cursed to crawl on his belly and eat the dust of the earth.
She doesn't even have a quarterly. Child, how long have you been studying the Bible?
A week. Marilla's been teaching me.
You must be a fast learner.
Marilla's a fast teacher.
The girls in this class are encouraged to memorize scriptural passages. Do you know any?
Only the Lord's Prayer, but I guess everyone can do that one. Oh, and I know the dog at his master's grave. It's not really a religious piece, but it's sad and melancholy and might as well be.
I don't think that would be appropriate.
I understand. I promise next week I'll have lots of scripture to recite.
Probably the entire Old Testament. Time for church. Oh, one final item. In 2 weeks, there will be a Sunday school picnic in Mr. Harmon Andrews' field.
Yes!
And if you all know the answers to next Sunday's questions, as well as our little orphan girl knew them today, I think I can convince Mrs. Bell and Mrs. Lynn to make ice cream.
Ice cream!
If you know the answers.
Yes, Miss Rogerson.
Now don't dally, go immediately to your pews in church. I understand the guest minister is quite punctual.
You're going to be late for church.
Ice cream. Never had ice cream before.
You will at the picnic. It's going to be near the pond where I live.
Yes, the Lake of Shining Waters.
Lake of Shining Waters?
I like to give fancy names to things. You must be Diana.
I am.
Oh, Phyllis said you were pretty. You're really beautiful.
Oh,
You are, honestly. My name is Anne Shirley, spelled with an E.
I'm pleased to meet you, Anne.
Likewise, I'm sure. You live very near me. I live at Green Gables.
I know. It'll be nice to have someone to play with. No other girls live near me, and my sister, Minnie May, is too little.
Then it's settled.
What's settled?
We can be bosom friends.
I suppose so.
Do you swear to be my bosom friend forever and ever?
It's dreadfully wicked to swear, especially in a church.
Not my kind of swearing. It just means promising solemnly.
Oh, well, that's all right. Then how do you do it?
We join hands. Now I'll say the oath first. I do solemnly swear to be faithful to my bosom friend Diana Barry for as long as the sun and the moon shall endure. Now you say it and put my name in it.
I solemnly swear to be faithful to my bosom friend, Anne Shirley, for as long as the sun and moon shall endure. I heard that you were a strange girl, Anne Shirley, but I think I'm going to like you real well.
Girls, it is time for church. Stop dallying.
Oh, we weren't dallying. We were only swearing.
Puppy's gonna be here soon and I'm going to be late.
I'm coming, Marilla. I've just gotta tie my shoes and put on my bow.
You'd have been ready in plenty of time if you hadn't spent half the morning sitting on that woodpile talking to Matthew. Chattering a mile a minute and him taking in every word like a perfect ninny.
But I had to tell him all about the Sunday school picnic.
Now how do I look? As well as you should.
Thank you for letting me wear my best dress.
Against my better judgment.
But you have to wear your best dress when you're entertaining your best friend. Oh, it's so elegant. Strawberry preserves, fruit cake, and ginger snaps and cookies. I'll make the tea when Diana gets here.
I think there's some raspberry cordial left over from the church social. It should be on the second shelf in the cupboard. You can have that too.
Raspberry cordial?
I'm here, Marilla. Coming, Rachel. Now, the minute Diana leaves, you'll need to get Matthew and the hired hand their supper. They should be back from the vessel pretty soon. Be sure to keep your wits about you when you're cooking, and don't get suds all over the floor like you did yesterday when you're washing the dishes. Now, you and Diana have a nice visit.
Thank you, Marilla. You're so ever kind to me.
Enough kissing nonsense. You'll please me most if you do as you're told. Time to go, Marilla. Hold your horses, Rachel. I'm coming. Now, after supper, you can start on your patchwork. You might be able to finish it tonight.
I hate patchwork. There's no imagination in it. I wish time went as fast when I'm sewing as when it does when I'm playing with Diana. Is everything ready? I think so. Raspberry cordial. Second shelf. Peaches. Preserves. Oh, this must be it. And the glasses. Good afternoon, Miss Barry.
The same to you, Miss Shirley.
And how is your mother?
Very well, thank you. And Miss Comfort.
The same. She has accompanied Mrs. Lynde to the Ladies' Aid Society.
And Mr. Comfort.
He and the hired hand are hauling potatoes away in the vessel. Our crop was very good this year. I trust your father's was as well?
It's fairly good, thank you.
I just love talking elegant, don't you?
Yes, it's so elegant.
We have ever so much to eat and drink. And the very best treat, Marilla's homemade raspberry cordial. You have some first, and I'll start with the fruitcake.
This is so much fun. I'm so glad we're friends.
Bosom friends, of course. Do you think Mr. Phillips will let us sit together once school starts?
He just has to. And if we're lucky, we'll be right across from Gilbert Blythe.
Who's Gilbert Blythe?
Just the handsomest and smartest boy in school. Teases us girls something awful. Torments our lives out. It's wonderful. He won't be there the first week of school, though. He's visiting his cousins in New Brunswick.
Well, I, for one, can manage 1 week without this Mr. Gilbert Blythe. Oh, Diana, I came up with the perfect name for that bunch of birch trees that we found for our playhouse. Idlewild. Doesn't it sound wonderful?
It's perfect. I'm enraptured by the name Idlewild.
Oh, you finished a raspberry cordial. You must have some more.
It's the best raspberry cordial I've ever drank.
Everything Marilla makes is the best. She's been trying to teach me to cook, but it's all uphill. My imagination starts running wild, and I forget to put things in. Like, I forgot to put the flour in the cake and the sugar in the shortbread. And the very worst of all was last week when we made a plum pudding and sauce. And, well, there was some left over, and so Marilla told me to cover and put it in the pantry. But I forgot to cover it. And oh, Diana, a mouse threw it.
Imagine a mouse. May I please have some more?
Of course. Well, I pulled the mouse out and threw it in the yard. And I forgot to tell Marilla about it. And then we had company over, Mr. and Mrs. Ross from Smithfield. And Marilla served them the pudding. And so I shrieked out, "You mustn't eat that pudding, a mouse drowned in it." I'm afraid I'm such a trial to Marilla. Oh, Diana, what's wrong?
Oh, I don't feel very well. I think I'd better go home.
But we haven't had our tea yet. I'll get it right away.
No, I must go home.
We'll have some fruitcake then.
No!
Maybe you can lay down in my room. Where does it hurt?
I feel very dizzy. I must go home.
This is so disappointing. Steady now. You must have caught pneumonia or something. This is so disappointing. Easy, easy.
We'll leave the rig right there for the time being, Jerry. Might as well let the mare cool off before we put her in the barn. Come on in. We might as well have a bite to eat before we get back to work.
I thought you said the girls were gonna have a tea party or something.
They were, but it looks like they're finished now.
There's some nice leftovers here.
Help yourself. Huh. Anne should have put these away when they finished. It's not like her. Well, Marilla would be mighty upset if she came home to a messy kitchen.
Mighty good fruitcake.
And cookies, too. Think Anne made these herself.
You're kind of fond of that girl, aren't you, Mr. Cuthbert?
Well, Jerry, truth to tell, I've always been a little afraid of women. Girls, too. Still am, for that matter. But Anne's different. She adds a lot around here. She's even softened Marilla up a mite, too. Of course, Marilla would never admit that. Well, we'd best be getting back to work.
Let me just wash down this fruitcake.
Hold on there. Not with this, you don't.
What is it?
Wine. Raspberry currant wine. Glass full or two of this will have you drunk, Jerry. Mighty drunk. Wonder what it's doing now. Come on, let's go.
Drunk. Disgracefully and shamefully drunk.
But she only had a few glasses of raspberry cordial.
Raspberry cordial, indeed. I know currant wine when I smell it.
Why? Oh, I must have gotten the wrong bottle out. Oh, Miss Barry, please forgive me. I didn't mean to intoxicate Diana.
Diana. Shush up, Minnie May. I don't think I want you to play with Diana anymore.
Oh, Miss Barry.
And you better cancel your plans when school begins. To stay with Diana when school begins.
Oh, please, Miss Barry. This will surely cover my life in a crowd of woe.
Oh, I think I'm gonna be sick.
Minnie May, help me get Diana to her room. You, young lady, I don't think you're a fit girl for Diana to associate. Now please take your big words and dramatic gestures home with you and behave yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I don't think I'm gonna be sick. I know I'm gonna be sick.
Stop that.
Get away from me, Jimmy Glover.
Why can't you boys act nicer on us girls like Moody McPherson does?
Moody's Virgin McPherson is a nice one because he is going to be a minister. Isn't that right, Moody? That's my calling and intentions. I have to set a good example early on.
Well, I'm going into politics and getting elected into parliament, so I don't have to be nice.
Oh, cut it out. Nobody's going to be anything if we're late coming in for recess. Mr. Phillips said we better be seated by the second bell, or we'd be punished.
Has anybody seen Diana? She always meets me at recess.
I saw her sitting under the big maple tree. She was writing something, I think. Oh, look at those boys scampering down from the big spruces. Gilbert Blythe climbed the highest of all. Isn't he irresistible, Anne?
He's handsome enough, but he shows off too much.
Half the girls are dead gone on him, and I bet you are too.
He's much too bold. He's always tying the girls' braids together when they aren't looking. And his first day back, he winked at me. Well, he did.
We're gonna be late. Come on.
I'm not dead gone on Gilbert Blythe, Bessie Wright, and I'm not the only one who isn't.
Hurry, Anne, before the second bell rings.
I'm coming, Ruby. Just got... Diana, I've been looking everywhere for you. Since your mother won't let us sit together or play at recess, it's the only time we can be together. Dear Anne, Mother says I'm not to play with you or talk to you even in school or at recess. Please don't be cross with me because I love you as much as ever. I miss you awfully to tell my secrets to. I made you a bookmark out of red tissue paper. When you look at it, remember me. Your true friend, Diana Barry. My own darling Diana, of course I am not cross at you. You must obey your mother, but our spirits can still commune. Yours until death do us part, Anne, or Cordelia, Shirley. P.S. I will sleep with your letter under my pillow tonight.
And Shirley, you are tardy. Perhaps you will be more punctual in the future if I have you sit with Gilbert Blythe, who was occasionally late himself.
I wish he'd punish me that way.
Quiet, everyone. Let me remind you, while it is still early in the year, that you must study hard at all times, whether you finish at Avonlea this year, or next, or beyond that. Your ultimate goal is to pass the entrance examinations to Queen's Academy in Charlottetown. Now, I know some of you cannot afford to go to Queen's, while others may have parents who will not allow them to go. But for now, assume one day you will take those exams and you will do your best to pass them. Perhaps one day, an Avonlea student may win the coveted Queen's Gold Medal, or better yet, the Avery Scholarship, highest of scholastic honors in the Maritime Provinces. Now, work on your fractions.
Will you check our work, Mr. Phillips?
Later, Ruby. At the moment, I must have Priscilla Andrews. She will soon be taking the Queen's examination herself.
And you're actually getting to sit with Gilbert Blythe? What kind of punishment is that?
The worst kind. Stop it!
Quiet, please. Prissy, Miss Andrews needs to concentrate. Carrots. Carrots.
How dare you!
And Shirley, what does this mean?
It was my fault, Mr. Phillips. I teased her.
I'm sorry to see a pupil of mine displaying such a temper.
Don't take it all out on her, Mr. Phillips.
Anne Shirley must learn to control her temper. Now, you will stand in the corner next to the wastebasket and hold this slate above your head for all to see. Now, until the bell rings, you may, if you have finished your fractions, talk quietly, very quietly amongst yourselves.
Poor Anne. I can't bear to watch her humiliation.
Her face is so white, her freckles stand out like little red spots.
I hope she didn't break Gilbert's brain. I'm serious.
I agree. Gilbert's the smartest student in school.
Anne looks so sad up there.
It's her fault. She's too sensitive about her hair. Diana has black hair, and Gilbert calls her a crow all the time.
There's a big difference between a crow and a carrot.
I figured you'd take her part, Charlie Sloane. Everyone knows you're dead gone over Anne anyways.
I am not.
My mother said your mother said you said Anne's the smartest person in class.
Well, it's true. She's smarter than Gilbert.
And why is she standing in the corner and he's not?
Well, maybe Anne is somewhat smart, but being good looking is better than being intelligent.
I think Josie Pye's dead gone on you, Charlie Sloane.
I'd rather be dead.
Quiet, please. It is time for the dismissal bell. When it rings, march out orderly. Do not rush.
I'm awfully sorry I made fun of your hair, Anne. Honest I am. Please don't be mad at me forever. Here's a candy heart for you. I brought it all the way back from New Brunswick.
replied.
Never.
No, you mustn't speak to me, Diana. You must obey your mother's orders.
I've been humiliated beyond belief. And look, Mr. Phillips left the E off my name. That settles it. I'm not going back to school. Nobody. Not even Marilla can convince me otherwise. Diana, that means we'll never see each other again. But in the years to come, thy memory will shine like a star over my lonely life. I read that somewhere. Wilt thou lend me a lock of thy jet black tresses to treasure forevermore? Go along, lest we be seen together. Farewell, my dearest friend. Henceforth we must be as strangers, though my heart will ever be faithful to thee.
Is Marilla ready yet?
She'll be down in a minute. She's just tending ham.
Is little thing sick? If she is, it's probably over that business about quitting school. I'm glad you took my advice and didn't make her go back. She's not missing much anyways. Mr. Phillips is a terrible teacher. If his uncle wasn't a trustee, he wouldn't have the job at all. Let's just hope he leaves this year when Chrissy Andrews goes off to college. If she passes the entrance examinations.
Do you think Anne will ever want to go back to school?
Of course. And the less fuss made about it, the quicker she'll go.
Well, when she does, I want her to have a real nice dress to wear, like the other girls.
Matthew Cuthbert, for once I agree with you. The way Marilla dresses that child is positively ridiculous.
Maybe you could pick her out something real nice over at Blair's and Carmody's. I could give it to her as a Christmas present, that way Marilla would have to let her wear it. Pick her out something real pretty.
If I don't find something I like, I'll make it myself.
Something with them, fluffy things on the sleeves, like the other girls wear.
Puffs, of course. It'll be the latest fashion.
Sorry to hold you up, Rachel. And Mrs. Lynde is here. Come down and say goodbye to us.
You ought to come with us, Matthew. Half the town is going. Maybe the only time you get to meet the Premier of Canada in person.
Matthew's not big on political parties.
Maybe he thinks I'll embarrass everybody when I ask the Premier why he won't give women the vote.
Goodbye, Marilla, Mrs. Lynde. Have a good trip to Charlottetown.
Lawful heart, child. What are you doing wearing that old granny cap for? She doesn't have headlights, does she?
No, she's okay.
That's good. Come here, Anne. And let me see if your hair has gone auburn yet.
No, it's still red.
We better get going, Rachel. We've kept your husband waiting long enough. Anne, you and Matthew take care of each other, and I'll see you tomorrow night.
Marilla, is that a lock of loose hair on your coat? Lawful heart, it looks green.
Can't be, Rachel. There's no such green thing as green hair.
There now. It'll be all right.
She'll spread it all over Avonlea. She saw the green hair.
But she doesn't know where it came from.
That peddler told me the dye would turn my hair black. I shouldn't have listened to him. He lied to me. But he sure told the truth when he said it wouldn't wash out.
Well, I think Marilla did the right thing by cutting it off.
Right down to the roots.
It'll grow back.
Redder than ever, I'll bet.
Mr. Cuthbert,
That's right.
I'm Miss Susan Stacy.
Won't you sit down?
No, thank you. I'm in rather a hurry since I'm calling on a number of families today, although quite a few of them seem to be on their way to Charlottetown. You must be Anne.
Yes, Miss Stacy.
I've heard a lot about you. Good things, I might add. I'll come straight to my business, Mr. Cuthbert. It is possible that the teaching position at Avonlea may become available next year.
Mr. Phillips is leaving?
It's not definite, but I've been encouraged to apply. I'm from Montpellier, and I'm a Queen's graduate. I was second runner-up for the Queen's Medal, and may have gotten an Avery Scholarship had Queen's been given one the year that I graduated. I don't say these things to boast, but merely to state my qualifications.
Well, you seem qualified to me.
Why don't you start right now?
Thank you for your votes of confidence. I like Avonlea, and I would like to teach here, but I want to teach students who have goals and ambitions beyond Avonlea. Would the brightest and the best wish to continue at Queen's or a similar institution? And would the parents or guardians be willing to pay for their child's education at such a place? I certainly don't expect an answer from you now, but I would like you to think about it. If the opportunity arises, I'll call on you again.
Miss Stacy, I don't go to school, but I might if you were the teacher.
But that wouldn't be until next year. You'll miss so much if you stay out until then.
I have my reasons for not going.
I'm sure you do. But do those reasons outweigh your desire for knowledge and the dreams that knowledge can bring? I'm sorry, I've overstepped my bounds. I enjoyed our brief visit. Good day, Mr. Cuthbert and Anne. I hope that we meet again.
I'd send you to a school like Queen's even if I had to hold up a bank to do it.
Oh, Matthew.
But I suppose we could probably scrape by without having to resort to robbery. Of course, if you wanted to go to Queen's with all your friends, you might have to start thinking about going to school real soon.
That man humiliates me. They all laughed at me.
I'd be mighty proud if you passed them entrance examinations someday.
I'll bet you'd be even prouder if I won that gold medal. Especially the Avery Scholarship.
I'd be real proud, that's sure. But the main thing is that you do your best, even when you don't feel like it. That's what makes me the proudest.
I haven't looked at these books in a month. Oh, I hate geometry. I hate Mr. Phillips, and I hate school. I'm not going back. Besides, they don't know that I cut all my hair off. Diana, did your mother say we could play together again?
Mother and Father went to Charlottetown yesterday. They're staying with my Aunt Josephine till tomorrow.
Diana, I'm delighted to see you, but you mustn't disobey your mother while she's away.
It's Minnie May. She's awful sick. The French girl, Mary Jo, is staying with us, and she says Minnie May has pneumonia and the croup, but Mary Jo doesn't know what to do, and I don't either.
I never took care of a young one before.
I have. At the orphanage, we had to take care of each other all the time. I helped a pair of twins through an awful sick spell once.
Anne, you go with Diane. I'll see if I can fetch the doctor in Avonlea.
I think you went to Charlottetown like everyone else.
Matthew will find somebody. I'll take a bottle of Ipecac in case you don't have any at home.
Hurry, Anne. Minnie May's coughing something awful, and she looks just terrible. I'm afraid she might be dying.
Oh, we won't let her die. Now, come on.
Jerry, you out there?
Just finished showing the corn, Mr. Cuthbert.
Hitch up the sorrel. I'm gonna have to fetch a doctor for the Berry girl. I may have to go all the way to Carmody.
I'll get right on it.
If Anne can't find a doctor, she'll have to handle things herself. Hope that little Berry girl's all right. The Watsons lost their youngest to pneumonia about this time a year ago. It's a sad, sad thing. Jerry, you may have to stay late and do the milking. Make sure you shut up the hen house before you leave.
I think she'll do much better in here where it's warm. The bedroom was too cold. Diana, give me a spoon for the Ipecac. I will need lots of hot water. Mary Jo, fill the stove full of wood.
Yes, right away. I'll do the best I can.
all down for the night is over. Easy now. You poor thing. This is far worse than being humiliated at school, cutting off all your hair, studying geometry, or losing your best friend. When this is over, I'm going to put away my petty pride and foolish vanity, and I'm going to go back to school. And I'm going to study real hard so that I can get into Queens, so Matthew and Marilla can be proud of me. This time for self-pity is over. But first, we've got to get you better, Minnie May. Take it again.
Is she going to die?
Not if we can help it. And we pray. I think there's a Bible verse that goes, God is in his heaven, all's right with the world. Just keep saying that. And Mary Jo, get more cloths and more wood on the fire. Hurry! Hurry!
We'll be having a brief intermission.
Matthew, they're here.
Well now, I'm coming. How's Ann look?
You'll see soon enough. Let the folks in. Well, that was some mighty fine singing, everybody. You deserve a reward.
We've had too many awards already at the Blythes, the Spurgeons, the Gillises, the Pies, and we've got 2 more stops to make.
Where's Anne? Still getting ready. She has to look pert tonight. She's the star of the program.
She's one of the stars Ruby's reciting to.
And so's Gilbert.
Well, she said that you're singing a solo and that you're real good. I'm not nearly as good a singer as Anne is a speaker. When she recites "Curfew Shall Not Ring Tonight," it sends chills up and down my spine. Well, she's been practicing all over the house today. She hardly had time to open her presents.
Minnie May, did you bring Anne's gift? I left it out in the sleigh. We'll go get it. We're mighty grateful to Anne. We have her to thank for Minnie May being here with us this Christmas. The doctor said she saved her life.
Well, Anne was equally grateful when you came right over here and apologized regarding that other matter. I remember how she flew out of here when you said she could play with Diana again.
And they're staying together the very next day.
When Anne came back to school, her hair made her look like a perfect scarecrow.
Well, her hair sure grew back faster than a scarecrow's.
Merry Christmas, everyone!
And your dress, it's beautiful.
Matthew gave it to me. It's a perfect Christmas present.
Anne, you've got puffs. This is for you.
Why, thank you, Minnie May.
It's for your hair.
Oh, it's lovely. And it even matches my dress. How did you know?
Rachel Lynn was involved with the project. Can you guys say more? Well, let's get going to the concert. We have 6 more people to pick up. I hope we can fit them all in 2 sleighs, 2 buggies and a sleigh.
Would you like to ride in my rig, Anne?
I'll ride with the fairies, thank you. Well, since Anne is spending the night with Diana, Matthew and I will go in our own buggy.
Then we'll see you at the concert.
Anne looks awful pretty in that dress.
It was a nice present, Matthew, although I'm not sure she needed a new dress. But she will make a good impression when she's reciting tonight.
And she speaks her poetry real well.
She is a bright child, and I'm awful proud of her. Of course, I won't tell her so.
Well, I'm proud of her, and I did tell her so. I think she's smart enough to pass them entrance examinations to Queen's someday.
Well, Mrs. Berry says that they're going to send Diana to school right here in Avonlea.
Well, they give a mighty fine education at Queen's.
For a mighty fine price.
I reckon we could afford it somehow.
I'd miss her something terrible if she ever went away.
But we have to do what's right by her.
Well, we don't have to think about it for a while.
Time will come soon enough. Might as well keep our minds on it.
They must be stopping at the Andrews now.
Well, we'd best be thinking about going.
I know why you've been sitting there gabbing so long. You didn't want to join in the singing.
Well, now, you're right.
I've never met a man so shy. Before Anne came, the only people who were comfortable around were me and the sorrel mare.
Well, at least the mayor, anyhow.
Go on. It was a perfectly brilliant evening. Everything went off so well. Your solo was elegant. I was so proud when they encored you back on.
Well, your recitation simply brought the house down. And Gilbert Blythe was splendid too. He looked at you the whole time he was reciting.
I didn't notice.
Oh, Anne, isn't it wonderful we can stay up as long as we like?
Yes, curfew shall not ring tonight.
Why don't we go up to the bedroom and read? It'll be special since we get the spare room tonight.
The spare room. Let's race to see who can get there first.
All right.
First one on the bed is the winner.
And then we'll put on our nightgowns and we'll read far into the night. This is such fun.
Get on your mark.
Get set, go! Oh! Merciful goodness!
Who was that? What was that?
Oh, Anne. I think it was my Aunt Josephine Barry from Charlottetown. I had no idea she was here. She's old and rich and prim and proper. I'm sure she'll scold us dreadfully.
There you are! You're the worst behaved child I ever saw! Your parents ought to be ashamed for the way they brought you up!
But Miss Barry.
Who are you?
Anne.
And another thing! I will not be paying for your music lessons as I promised your father!
But Miss Barry.
Who are you?
And
another thing! I will not be staying as 2 weeks as planned. I shall return to Shawtown in the morning, taking with me any monetary considerations I had for this family.
But Miss Barry.
Who are you? And another thing! Who are you?
Anne Shirley. I live at Green Gables. This was all my fault, jumping on your bed like that. Diane is a very ladylike girl. You mustn't blame her.
Oh, I mustn't, eh?
Please, it was all in good fun. But please forgive us, Miss Barry. Or at least forgive Diana and let her have her music lessons. You must be cross with anyone. Be cross with me. In my early days as an orphan, many people were cross with me, so I can endure it much better than Diana can.
All in fun, you say?
That's all. We had no idea you were in there.
Well, you don't know what it's like to be wakened from a sound sleep after a long journey by being bounced upon by 2 girls.
But I could imagine what it would be like. Just as I'm sure you could imagine how a poor little orphan girl would be so eager to jump into bed when she's never had the honor of being in a spare room.
Well, I suppose your claim to sympathy is as strong as mine. You seem like an interesting girl.
And you, Miss Barry, might even be a kindred spirit. Although you don't look like one.
Well, perhaps we can sit down this week, and you can tell me something about yourself.
Then you're not leaving in the morning, Aunt Josephine?
No, I will stay the whole 2 weeks. I want to be here for your first music lesson. To make sure you're getting my money's worth out of it. And perhaps this Anne girl can come talk to me occasionally.
Of course I will, Miss Barry.
Good night, Aunt Josephine. Oh, thank you, Anne. I'm eternally grateful.
Well, it was my fault. Mrs. Lynde says I'm too impulsive. But when a thought leaps into your mind, it's so exciting you just have to do it. You stop to think it over, and you spoil it all.
Girls, you still up? I forgot to tell you, Diana. Your Aunt Josephine came to visit while we were at the concert. Your father gave the spare room, so you 2 left to sleep with me and May. I think you should go to bed now. And for heaven's sakes, don't wake up Aunt Josephine. She'll never forgive you if you did. And Diana, that might mean the end of your music lessons.
We wouldn't dream of waking her, Miss Barry.
Wouldn't dream of it at all.
Why, Matthew, Marilla, what are you doing in town on a Hardesty day?
To see the doctor. I've been having those headaches again.
Oh, you poor dear. What did he say?
He gave me another pair of glasses, but they never seem to do any good. He said that I should see the specialist next time he comes to the island. Of course, Matthew's the one who ought to see the doctor with his heart and all, but I can never seem to get him to go.
Is Anne back from the excavation in Charlottetown yet?
Mr. Barry's bringing her and Diana back tonight.
It was nice of Josephine Barry to let them stay with her. I always thought that woman was an old sourpuss, but she sure has taken a shine to Anne.
Like everyone does.
Matthew, I saw your rig parked outside the general store, and that old mare looked awful thirsty to me.
Well, we'd best be getting home anyways. Come on, Marilla.
You ought to go water the mare, Matthew. I need to talk to Marilla about a new recipe I'm trying out. She'll be right along. Marilla, does Matthew still have his money in the Abbott's bank?
Every penny we've got.
I hear the bank's a little shaky. Mr. Abbott's getting quite old now, and his nephews are running it. If I were you, I'd think about putting your money someplace else.
I'll mention something to Matthew. Thank you, Rachel.
The Reverend and Mrs. Allen.
Good morning, Mrs.
Lind. Miss Rachel Lind.
I'm sorry. I thought I have all the names before long.
I told my husband I'd memorize the congregation's names if he'd memorize the Sunday sermons.
And good ones they are, too. Although I missed the Reverend Bentley's sermons. I had all his memorized even before he retired.
Let's see. The people you were just talking with. The Cuthberts.
Correct.
There were girls in my Sunday school class. When I asked the pupils what their favorite Bible verse was, Anne told me hers was, "God's in his heaven, all's right with the world." I reminded her that the poet Robert Browning wrote that, but we both agreed it probably should be in the Bible. She's certainly a fine, intelligent young lady.
I should think so. I practically raised her myself.
I'm very pleased to be in Avonlea, Mrs. Lind.
It's a new day in our town, with all the comings and goings. There's even talk of a new school teacher this fall. A woman of all things. I'm all for giving women the vote, but not so sure we should be giving them our schools. But Ken is going to the dogs anyhow, with the way things are being run in Ottawa. But those are just my thoughts, and I'll keep them to myself. Good day, Reverend. Mrs. Allen.
Good day, Miss Lind.
Shall we take our tea into the parlor?
Let's do it.
Well, this is to be our last convening until school begins.
I so look forward to a new teacher. Yes, although it's a sad day Mr. Phillips left.
But not too sad.
We all cried.
Convincingly, I thought.
This gathering has been so divine. I only can think of one other thing that we haven't done that will make it absolutely perfect.
And what would that be, Carrie Sloane?
A small, friendly game. I dare you.
Fun. All right. Well, I'll make our dares while we finish our tea, and then we'll go out to the garden and do them.
Ruby Gibbs, I dare you to climb the big willow tree outside the front door.
But it's full of big green caterpillars.
I know. That's why I dared you.
All right, I'll do it.
Jane Andrews, I dare you to hop around the garden on your left leg without stopping.
But I don't have good balance.
Of course, that's why I dared you.
Very well, I will.
Josie Pye, I dare you to walk all along the wooden fence that surrounds the garden.
But I have my slippery shoes on.
That's why I dared you.
Fine, I will. Anne Shirley, I dare you to walk the ridgepole on top of the roof.
The high places make Aunt dizzy.
Of course, that's why I dared her.
She'll fall off and be killed. Josie, it isn't fair to dare anyone to do anything so dangerous.
Anyway, Josie, you've already given one dare. That's all you're allowed.
Don't do it, Anne.
I must. My honor's at stake.
No, Anne, it's too dangerous.
Let's go. I'll even be first. I will walk the ridgepole on the roof, or perish in the attempt.
She's gonna do it. Wait, someone help me take these cups back to the kitchen. Mother will kill me if I don't.
She's going to do it. Look at her climbing up that ladder. She's up on the roof. She's taking your dare good and proper, Josie Pye.
Oh no, I can hear her up on the roof. Be careful, Anne. The slant on that roof is very steep.
She's on the ridgepole. Good girl, Anne. I knew she could do it. She showed you, Josie Pye. Come out and look, Diana.
No, Anne, come down now. Don't wait for me to see.
Why is she swaying? I think she's slipping. Anne, be careful. Grab the ridgepole. Grab the ridgepole. If you fall, try to land in the Virginia creepers.
Anne!
I don't see why I have to be here when she gets here.
It's customary for the whole family to be on hand when company arrives. Now button the top button of your shirt.
But it ain't even the preacher himself. It's only his wife.
You'll be fine. Besides, there's something I need to talk to you about while we're waiting for her. There's talk that the Abbott Bank is a little shaky.
Well, that's all it is. Talk. Papa kept his money in the Abbott all those years and it stayed safe.
Times are changing. I would feel better if we kept what we had in the savings bank. Just think about it, will you? Afternoon, Mrs. Allen.
Hello, and how are the Cuthberts today?
As well as can be expected. Come, sit. And Mrs. Allen is here.
How is she managing these days?
Pretty good, I guess, considering the circumstances. It sure perked her up when I told her that you were coming. She even baked a layer cake special for you.
How thoughtful.
Good. Later on, I'm sure she'll want to show you her little garden out in back.
It's a fine girl you're both raising. Did she tell you we have the same favorite poet, Robert Browning?
Her and her poetry. That must have been the only thing she read when she was a little girl. It seems there was some wealthy widow who gave a batch of poetry books to that orphan asylum. It must have been the only reading matter they had.
I think Browning very accurately describes Anne in his lines, "The good stars met in your horoscope, made you of spirit and fire and dew."
That's all right.
Hello, Mrs. Allen.
Why, Anne, you're hardly handicapped at all.
Matthew made this crutch for me.
You're quite a work of art.
Let's sit and have some cake. I'm sure Matthew wants to get back to the pigs.
I was feeding the cows.
Anne, I can hardly wait to taste your cake. I'm honored that you made it for my visit. You know, I came here today, especially since it's the first day of school. I thought you might be a little down in the dumps.
How very thoughtful, Miss Allen. But I won't be out of school for long. You see, my cast comes off in just 2 weeks. Miss Stacy, she's our new teacher, said she'd try to drop off my assignments before I start back. Is something wrong? Oh, Mrs. Allen, please don't eat any more of that. It's not even to be nice. Anne, what did you put in the cake? Nothing but the recipe. What's wrong? It's terrible. You taste it. What flavoring did you use? Vanilla. Just vanilla. The bottle's there in the cupboard. Land sakes, Anne. You flavored it with anodyne liniment. Liniment? Last week, I broke the liniment bottle and put one left in this old vanilla bottle. And I suppose it is partly my fault. But couldn't you smell the liniment? No, I couldn't. I was still getting over my summer cold. Miss Allen, can you ever forgive me?
There's nothing to forgive, my dear. I appreciate your thoughtfulness just as much as if the cake had turned out all right. Now, you mustn't be upset.
Well, this is certainly a new one for me. I make an awful lot of mistakes. But there's one good thing. I never make the same mistake twice. I'm not sure if that's much benefit when you're always making new ones. But don't you see, Marilla? There must be a limit to the amount of mistakes one person can make. So once I'm through with all of mine, I'll be done with mistakes forever. I suppose I can give what's left of this cake to the pigs. Matthew, you can get back to the cows.
Anne, I'm eager to see your flower garden. Why don't you show it to me?
All right. I love fall flowers best. I think they're the most...
Gilbert Blythe.
Hello, Mrs. Allen. And
Good afternoon, Gilbert.
Anne, I'll go on ahead. You can join me later.
No, don't go, Miss Allen. What are you doing here?
Miss Stacy let me bring your books and assignments to you.
Why would you want to do that?
Maybe it's so you don't have any excuses for when I score higher than you on the Queen's entrance exams.
Maybe you'll be the one looking for an excuse.
We'll see. Well, goodbye.
Gilbert,
Yes.
thank you. Again.
Again?
I was remembering the incident on the lake last summer.
Oh, yeah. When you and the other girls were acting out the Tennyson poem and your flatboat started to sink, well, I couldn't just let you drown, could I? I'm just glad I happened to come along when I did.
So am I.
And has it ever occurred to you that we might possibly be friends?
Has. Somewhat.
I'm awfully sorry I made fun of your hair that time. Besides, that was so long ago, and I think your hair is really pretty now. Honestly, I do.
Carrots. You called me carrots. We could never be friends, Gilbert Blythe. Never.
Fine. I'll never ask you to be friends with me again. Goodbye, Aunt Shirley.
Why did he really bring these books over? Was it truly so I wouldn't have an excuse? He scored higher than me in the exam? Probably so. Well, I'll beat you, Gilbert Blythe. And when we're at Queen's, I'll study day and night to keep you from winning that gold medal.
And your chrysanthemums are lovely, all brilliant yellows and browns.
Mrs. Allen, I forgot. Oh, thank you so very much. I'm coming, Miss Allen. It just takes a little longer on this crutch.
Dearest Diana, here it is, Tuesday night, and I'm writing as I promised. I'm here at your Aunt Josephine's. It was so kind of her to let me stay here while I take the Queen's examinations. First, we begin in the morning. Everyone was frightfully nervous today, and the moods varied with the individuals.
My hands are as cold as ice. Feel my hands, Josie.
I think I'm gonna fail algebra. I really think I am.
Charlie, you have to be more positive.
Okay, I am gonna fail algebra. I know I will.
I've been staying with Anne. She's the smartest. I'm sure she'll do well.
Even Anne does pass. I don't think she can handle the grind of studying to be a teacher. Anyway, Gilbert will do better on the exams than Anne.
Jimmy Glover bet Ned Wright a whole dollar that Anne would score higher than Gilbert.
The Bible says we should have bet.
Where does it say that?
12 times 6 is 72, 12 times 7 is 84, 12 times 8.
Moody Spurgeon, what are you doing?
Same on multiplication, 10 equals 12 times 9 is.
He's been saying them for 3 hours.
It steadies my nerves and makes me calm. Now don't interrupt. 12 times 10 is 120, 12 times 11. Hello, everybody. I'll be around to pick you up at your rooms early in the morning, so you should all get a good night's sleep. I know you wish to study all that you can, but I recommend that you not cram tonight. Just relax and clear your heads. And I suggest we begin by going uptown for some ice creams all around, my treat.
How lovely.
I am very proud of each and every one of you, and I wish you the best of luck tomorrow.
Oh, Diana, if only the geometry examination were over. But as Mrs. Lynde would say, the sun will go on rising and setting whether I fail in geometry or not. But I think I'd rather it didn't go on if I failed. I wish so much that you were here with me. Yours devotedly, Anne.
Diana, come help me with the dishes. They won't wash themselves, you know.
Coming, Mother.
How lucky I am. I love you, Green Gables. Love you to pieces. And you too, Matthew.
Well now, how did you get along?
I don't know if I passed or not. It's a creepy, crawly feeling that I didn't. But I'd rather not pass at all if I don't get ahead of a certain somebody. Oh, Marilla, how I've missed you. It seems like I've been gone much longer than 3 days.
More like 3 years.
How did you do?
She thinks she failed, but I don't believe a word of it.
Well, if she did, that means she wouldn't be going back next year.
When will we find out? The pass list comes out in the Charlottetown paper today, but we won't know until tomorrow. But right now, I just want to spend as much time as I can with the two of you. Headaches again?
No, it's just,
I'm glad you're home and I'm happy to see you. And I fear you'll be gone next year. If I pass. And besides, I'll come home every weekend. They'll have the passenger train service by then. You've grown so tall and stylish. You're even quieter than you used to be. I just wish you could have stayed the way you were, even with all your funny little ways. But you changed. Well, no, not really. No matter how much I change outwardly, or no matter where I go, I will always be the little Anne that loved you and Matthew and Green Gables more every day of my life. Now you've got us all mushy and silly talking. Now, go get your everyday clothes on and help me feed the chickens. I'd love nothing more.
Anne! Anne, are you back yet?
Diana!
I'm sorry I didn't knock. I know it's impolite, but this is urgent. Look! You passed! What? Father brought the paper home from Bright River not minutes ago. He got it right off the train. And here's the pass list. You and Gilbert tied for first, and everyone from Avonlea passed. Miss Stacy will be so delighted. Well, Moody Spurgeon got a conditional in history, and Josie Pye barely scraped by, but everyone passed, and look, your name's at the top of the list.
Oh, Matthew, Marilla, I passed. And I'm first. Or one of the first. I'm not being vain. I'm just being very, very thankful.
Well now, I knew you could beat them all.
You've done pretty well, I must say.
Oh, Anne, I got your letter. It was so exciting. You must tell me all about your trip.
I've got to help Marilla with the chickens.
Matthew can help me feed the chickens. You girls do your visiting and catch up on everything.
All right. Diana, come with me while I unpack my things. You wouldn't believe the English examination. At first, my head was simply whirring, but after a while...
Looks like you did a fairly good job with her after all, Marilla.
Oh, go on.
Me putting my oaring didn't hurt too much either, I suppose. She's a real smart one, and pretty, and loving, too.
She is that.
She's been a real blessing to us, that's sure. There was never a luckier mistake than the one Mrs. Spencer made, if it was luck. I'd say it was Providence. The Almighty saw we needed her, I reckon.
Matthew, Cuthbert, are you going to stand there gabbing all day, or are you going to help me feed the chickens?
I was feeding the cows.
You're always feeding the cows.
They're going to get as bad as Rachel Lynde. Now, come on.
We'll be waiting for you in the parlor, Josie. Josie, please hurry. It won't be daylight much longer.
Fine. Charlottetown is much more exciting after dark.
Why is she getting so fancy up anyway? She hopes to see her French professor in town.
And why not? He's simply a duck.
I prefer men my own age.
Like Gilbert Blythe, I've seen him carrying the books to read.
Are you ready yet, Josie?
Almost. I just need help with this necklace.
Is Anne? Anne coming.
No, she's studying as usual.
She's determined to get a first-class teacher's license in 1 year instead of 2.
I wouldn't dream of finishing in 1 year. Besides, I can't wait to come back to the academy. My father can afford it anyways.
You know, when Anne decided she was going to try and finish in 1 year, Gilbert decided he would too. I wonder why.
Hi, everyone. You better get to town while it's still daylight, or you'll have to be escorted.
We're being detained by Josie's jewelry. Come with us, Anne. You can't study all weekend.
Besides, everyone knows that either Emily Clay or Lewis Williams will win the gold medal.
Or Gilbert Blythe. Or Anne Shirley. In fact, I bet she can win the Avery Scholarship if Queens were awarded one.
Ready?
At last. You sure you won't come, Anne?
Miss Josephine Berry was taking me to her home. I'm going to be spending the night there.
How nice. Remember when we all used to go home every weekend before Christmas?
We were so homesick then.
And we didn't have as much homework to do. Look, there's Gilbert. He can escort us to town. Good night, Anne. Have a nice time at Miss Berry's.
Thank you. I will. We were so homesick then. Some of us still are. I wish I could be home. Matthew's probably coming in from the fields about now. Marilla's making tea for him and the hired hand. They'll talk of the cows, the chickens, the crops. They talk about me. They miss me as much as I miss them.
Annie, girl.
Oh, Miss Berry, would you be terribly offended if I called you Aunt Josephine?
I'd be terribly offended if you didn't.
Oh, Aunt Josephine, I'm so glad I'm coming to your house. Thank you for inviting me.
Will you stay the whole weekend?
Thank you, but exams are coming up and I have to study if I'm going to graduate and get my teacher's license.
Well, we can make the most of one night. I had my cook prepare a fancy wild turkey with all the trimmings. How does that sound?
Simply wonderful.
Come on, we can't leave the drive waiting. By the way, did I see that Blythe boy on the porch?
I think so.
Nice young man. A good match for you, I think, Anne girl.
Well now, I don't think so.
I am. He's attractive, seems studious, ambitious, and he possesses an even more important feature.
What's that?
A strong chin. It's true. A man with a strong chin is his most important attribute. Now, a man with a weak chin is apt to love you as he is to leave you. When I was a girl, about your age.
Well, now, I think it's this way.
Aren't you sure? You brought her here to the academy.
Oh, that was a year ago. And by buggy. We came by train this time.
Rachel, you've been to Charlottetown before. Only to the fairgrounds. And with you that one time.
I think it may be this way.
Well, if worse comes to worse, we can always ask somebody.
Miss Cuthbert, Mrs. Lynde, you're going the wrong way.
Miss Stacy, you're like a beacon in the fog. We haven't seen you since you left Avonlea.
I couldn't miss the graduation of the best students I ever had. I only wish they could go on to college.
We only wish we could afford it.
But who can afford to send their child through college? Josie Pye's father could, but I doubt she'll ever make it through Queens.
I hear the teaching position in Avonlea is vacant again.
And I hear Gilbert Blythe has applied for headmaster. We haven't had a man since Mr. Phillips. Imagine me calling Gilbert a man.
Come, follow me. We don't want to be late.
Thank you again for your kind attention. As I mentioned inside of the official graduation ceremony, it is our custom to gather briefly outside in the courtyard prior to our reception that we might present what is traditionally our highest honor, the Queen's Academy Gold Medal. I am very pleased to announce this year's recipient, a student who has shown outstanding qualities both personally and scholastically from the village of Avonlea, Prince Edward Island, Mr. Gilbert Blythe. Normally this presentation will conclude our formal ceremony, but this year we are extremely honored to have an equally prestigious award to bestow upon one of our graduates. As many of you know, the late Mr. Neville Avery of New Brunswick left a portion of his fortune to endorse scholarships among the various high schools and academies in the maritime provinces, according to their respective standings. And due to our unusually high academic achievements this year, Queen's Academy has been awarded such a scholarship. It comes with it full paid expenses for 4 years at Redmond College, leading to a Bachelor of Arts degree. I am very privileged to announce their recipient of this rare scholarship, a student who could not be more deserving nor delightful. So I might add again from the village of Abilene, Prince Edward Island, Miss Anne Shirley. Now we invite our friends, family, and alumni to join the faculty and graduates for the reception and refreshment summer period. This year's graduation is now officially concluded.
Congratulations, Miss Shirley.
And the same to you, Mr. Blank. Oh, look, there's Matthew and Marilla. And Mrs. Lend. And Miss Stacy. How nice of her to come. And Diana. Dear, dear Diana. Just look at that Moody Spurgeon. First in line for the cookies. I'm coming, Diana. Get a glass of punch for me, okay?
Martin, that was an awful heavy load for them horses to carry all the way from the station. Get her a drink while we get the bags. It's nice to finally be back.
We were only gone 2 days.
Well, I guess that's about as long as I've ever been away.
Seems like the new hired man took care of things okay while we were gone.
Where's Anne?
Still gabbing with Diana. Now, you let me get the baggage, you mind your heart. Oh, goodbye! I'll be right over as soon as I unpack. Oh, Green Gables, I missed you. I'm going to spend every moment memorizing everything before I go to Redmond College. Well, let me get the luggage. No, child, you rest. You've earned it. To take a first-class teaching license and that Avery scholarship all in 1 year. Well, well.
I'd better check the mail, then I'll get back to work.
Matthew, let's take a rest for today.
I don't know. There's always more to do on a farm, even with a hired hand.
Just wish I'd been a boy. Could help you so much. But this summer before we go to college.
Well now, Anne, I'd rather you than a dozen boys. It wasn't a boy who took that scholarship, was it? It was a girl. My girl that I'm proud of.
Marilla, at least let me get these to my room. The headaches again? They come and go. The specialist is coming to the island next week. I didn't see him this time. These bags are heavier than when you left. All my books are in them. Most of the students sell them or give them to friends. But I couldn't part with a single solitary one.
Well now. Well now.
Then all the girls except Josie Pye left, and there she was surrounded. Marilla, look. What's wrong, Matthew?
It's the bank. The Abbott Bank failed.
Oh no. Are you sure?
It's all right there. All the money we had in the bank is gone.
You're sick, Matthew. You've got to lie down.
I should have put the money in the savings account like you said, Marilla.
There's nothing you can do about it now. Besides, we didn't have very much.
It's gone. It's all gone.
Matthew, is it your heart? Oh, Matthew! And you go get Martin. Tell him to get the doctor immediately. Yes, right away. I'll get Miss Lynn and the berries and anyone else I can find. Oh, Martin, come quick. It's Matthew. He's sick. We're all sick. that you, Anne? Yes, Marilla. You're going to be late for church. Where were you? I left before you got up. Went down to the cemetery to plant a rose bush at the foot of Matthew's grave. The white Scotch rose bush. He loved those roses the best. Marilla, what are we going to do without him? We'll just have to do with each other now. I don't know what I would do if you weren't here. It's never been easy for me to say things of the heart. I love you as much as Matthew did. I love you as dear as if you were my own flesh and blood. You've been my joy and comfort ever since you came to Green Gables.
Marilla.
Morning, Miss Cuthbert. I was just down from Carmody visiting my uncle here in Avonlea and thought we might talk.
Yes, Mr. Sadler. We were just on our way to church.
Of course, Sunday isn't the most proper time to discuss business anyway. I'll just drop by tomorrow. Morning to both of you.
Marilla, you better get ready for church. You're going to be late. I've just got to get my hat. Who was that man? You know how Reverend Allen is punctual with his services. What kind of business? I suppose you might as well know now as later. I saw the specialist last week and he gave me a new pair of glasses. You already told me that. But what I didn't tell you is that he said I can't read or sew or do anything or I'll be blind in 6 months. Oh, Marilla. I can't run the farm on my own. And there's not enough money to keep a hired hand anymore. I have to sell Green Gables, and Mr. Sadler wants to buy it. Sell Green Gables? There's nothing else to be done. Rachel says I can stay with her. I'm thankful that you're taken care of with that scholarship. I'm just sorry that you won't have a home to come back to on your vacations. You mustn't sell Green Gables. I can't stay here by myself. You won't be alone. I'll be with you. But you'll be gone at college. I'm not going to Redmond. Anne, you can't. I mean, just that. I'll get a teaching position and we'll use part of my salary to pay a hired hand. What teaching job? Gilbert Blythe has a position here in Avonlea, and anywhere else would be too far away for you to drive. Well, then I'll be the hired hand myself. I'll read to you and cook to you and cheer you up. We'll be real happy together, just you and I. Anne, I can't let you get rid of that scholarship. And I can't let you get rid of Green Gables. But Anne, what about your dreams, your ambitions? They haven't changed. I can do that later. We just come to a little bend in the road, and we have to bend with it. Oh, sounds like church has started. You go along. I just gotta get my hat. I'll catch up to you. You blessed girl. If that's Mr. Sadler, I'll tell him. Why, Gilbert Blythe.
Morning, Miss Cuthbert.
Maybe you can convince Anne to hurry along. She's awful full of stalling tactics today.
Hello, Anne.
Gilbert?
I understand from Mrs. Lynde that you plan to sell the farm.
Why does Avonlea need a newspaper when it has Rachel Lynde? Marilla was going to sell the farm. She's not anymore.
Because you're going to stay here and give up your scholarship.
How did you know?
I know you and your love for Green Gables. But how will you manage? You don't have a job, do you?
I'll manage somehow.
How about the teaching job here in Avonlea?
But that position is yours. I heard the Board of Trustees has already...
I withdrew my application.
But why?
I found a teaching job at White Sands, and I recommended you for the position here. The board said all you have to do is apply.
Thank you. Thank you, Gilbert.
I hope that after all this we can be friends, and that you can forgive me for all my old faults.
I forgave you a long time ago. Just too stubborn to admit it.
May I walk you to church? I think the service has already started.
Go along. I've got to get the hat from my room.
You know, it's too bad Mr. Phillips won't be there.
Our old school teacher? Why him?
He might make us sit together for being late.
Well, then let's pretend he is there, and we'll sit together anyhow.
I have an idea. How about I reintroduce myself and we start all over again?
An excellent idea.
My name is Gilbert Blythe, and I'm very pleased to meet you. I'll be waiting for you at church.
And my name is Anne Shirley, but please call me Cordelia. I think Cordelia's a much better... My name is Anne of Green Gables. And at this moment, God is in his heaven, and all's right with the world.
This week, we could not have done any of it without you. We greatly appreciate all the food and the costumes and the sound effects and the props and the lights. Thank you so much for everything. And now to call out our cast. Well, real quick first, actually. Our stage managers, Caitlin Martin and Caitlin Babcock. Please poke your heads up here and bow. All right, as Jimmy Glover, we have Xandra Bartley. Josie Pye, second girl, Tilly Bolter, Kimora Bartley. Reverend Bentley, president of Queen's Academy, Jed Crozier. Mary May Berry, Bessie Wright, and fifth girl, Lily Babcock. Charlie Sloan and Mr. Sadler, Jackson Babcock. Station Master and Moody McPherson, Joe Craddock. Mrs. Berry, Carrie Sloan, and fourth girl, Faith Craddock. Miss Rogerson and Miss Susan Stacy, Olivia Blankenship. Jane Andrews, Mary Jo, Mrs. Blewett, and third girl, Claire McCandless. Ruby Gillis, Aunt Josephine, and first girl, Alice Peterson. Mrs. Allen and Prissy Andrews, Elizabeth Babcock. Mr. Phillips, Gary Boot, and Reverend Allen, Aaron Kazee. Gilbert Blythe, Toby Duran. Rachel Lynn, Lily Peterson. Marilla Cuthbert, Alyssa Babcock. Matthew Cuthbert, Thomas Sage. Diana Berry, Eliana Blankenship. And our lovely Anne Shirley, Rebecca Craddock. Quick note. So sneaky. This is Rebecca's senior play. She, I hope so, will be back with us in May. But as her senior January drama, this is her big one. Rebecca, we have loved having you. It has been an honor to watch you grow as a young lady, and we're so glad that we got to know you and got to go on this journey with you, and we're really excited to see where you go from here.